Conveners of the 2024 End Bad Governance protest have announced plans to protest against emergency rule in Rivers State and the Cybercrime Act allegedly used by the police to hunt activists, journalists, and social media influencers. This was contained in a flyer circulating on social media platform X yesterday, shared by one of last year's protest organizers. The Take It Back movement tags April 7, 2025 action nationwide protest against bad governance and free speech suppression. National coordinator of the TIB, Juwon Sanajaolu, said their demand is practically for the repeal of the Cybercrime Act. It involves the question of how the Cybercrime Act is being used to suppress free speech. And like you know, journalists and activists are usually the victims of both the Cybercrime Act and suppression of free speech, including social media users, people like C. King and the rest. We are also calling for the end of the end of the emergency rule in Rivers State, or as we like to put it, the imposition of a military rule in Rivers by President Bola Tinubu. We are calling for its reversal and the full reinstatement of all organs of government that have been suspended, the activists added. President Tinubu on March 18 declared emergency rule in Rivers State over protracted political crisis between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the Rivers State House of Assembly loyal to Nyesom Wike. Tinubu suspended the governor and the lawmakers for 6 months and appointed a sole administrator to run the nation. Do you stand for this? Do you think protest over the emergency rule? We'll go back to the Cybercrime Act that they are also agitating for. Do you think if any Labour also came to give their threats? We are still yet to hear regarding that aspect, and now we're hearing from Conveners from the End Bad Governance protests that were done last year, right? Coming back to say they want to protest over the emergency rule. Do you think this call is going to yield any results? And considering the reasons they have given, in the reason why they want to go into this onto this protest in April 7 over the Cybercrime Act and the freedom of speech of individuals, do you think this will stand, please?
Records have shown that no protests have yielded anything positive in Nigeria. But I want to let you understand one thing. They are not protesting that it will yield. So there is this story. They said that when the kite carries the chicks, that the mother chicken will be shouting, but the kite has flown away with the little chick. They asked, why are you still shouting? He said, let the fowl will say, let the whole world hear her voice. It's not that the kite will bring it back. So what they are doing is let it be on record that we protested against these injustices, against these ills, against this oppression and suppression of the masses. It's not as if the government will listen. We are still barbaric in nature in this side of Africa. Unlike in other climes, when your people protest, even the leaders will even resign. But here, when they protest, you want to use your power, your security power, to suppress them and oppress them the more. So, the NSAS, did he yield anything? Take it back of last year, was it last year? Did he yield anything? It's not. It is not today. You know, our government are not given any listening ear to the protests and cries of her citizens. And it's a problem. But, you know, recently I started studying about revolutions of different nations. The French Revolution, the Russian revolutions, and all the rest. There came a time in the Russian Revolution, the whole masses came out and refused to be suppressed and asked that Kremlin kill all of us and rule yourselves. And that brought a change. You know, Ojukwu said, when you push a man to the wall, he has no option than to bounce back. You may think that the people are weak, but you know, there is this spontaneous strength that God gives to the weak to escape reprisal. It may come one day on all Nigerians. They may not be able to contain it. Now that Nigerians are asking them to do the right thing, the government should yield and do the right thing. Uphold the constitution to which they swore to uphold. And not allowing themselves to be disgraced by these small boys. It will be a total disgrace to them. They should yield to it. Now, what are they demanding?
The Cybercrime Act.
Cybercrime Act.
Freedom of speech.
You know, the Constitution provides, Section 22 and 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, provides this freedom of speech, that the press should be at liberty to publish, and individuals are at liberty to express their thoughts via the press and all the rest. Now, you establish Cybercrime Act, which you are using to subdue individuals from expressing themselves. Section 20 of the Cybercrime Act, Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act is what they are using against Nigerians.
So in that instance, because if you have to refer back to that youth corper that made a statement over the economic hardship of the country, there were a lot of criticism, although she made a statement that she wasn't supposed to say against the president, but she was actually speaking her mind and the minds of people and the mind of youth corpers. And some social media users came up to speak for themselves. I had a particular lady that said her father was in the police force at a time when he was terribly sick. He did not get the attention he deserves, you know, and all of that situation. Let's say oftentimes people come on this social media platforms to speak their minds, to criticize the government or the present-led administration. We've seen cases where the criticism has been more like there's been a backlash back to that individual. Is it that we're losing it? Are we losing out from that freedom of speech?
Yeah, that is what they are saying. you know, you should understand that the world is advancing. Chidim, I don't know how many times you have bought newspaper, but you read news via your internet device. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Now, what we are doing here now, you go to YouTube, you see it. People that didn't watch it live will go to YouTube and see it. So the world is advancing. Now, freedom of speech and expression. You see, people are now expressing themselves through blogging. And so, you want to, and you find out that information is faster now. Dissemination of information is faster now via the internet. A lot of, unlike when we had the traditional media group, you have a few of the what do you call it, newspaper and magazine establishments. But now, a lot of bloggers are there, a lot of social media influencers are there. The moment they get, people express themselves freely via this means. Now they don't like it.
Why is that so? How did we get to that point? Because like you stated, we still have the freedom of speech. How did we get to that point? Because if you check back to the during the Goodluck 2010 time, there were a lot of criticism over the administration, even towards the Buhari regime, and there were lots of criticism over the present-led administration. But it seems like this is a different situation, that when you come up to speak or you come to protest, it turns out to be a different situation.
You know, like I said, the intent of your heart is only God and you that knows it. You understand? A lot of people pretend to be Democrats when they are really autocrats. That is the thing. You have just mentioned it now. During Jonathan time, people criticize freely and nothing happens to them. But the reverse is the case now. Look at P2B, who is an opposition leader. They are warning him. They want to shut him up. You can imagine that. What they are trying to say is nobody should criticize the government. Nobody should say anything about the government. Whether they are leading us into the bush, whether they are leading us into hellfire, follow us and let's go. Don't criticize. Don't say anything. Don't give us direction. Yes, that's the implication of what they are doing. When they are hunting down any opposing criticism, opposing talks. But a right-thinking person is, when I criticize you, you go back and sift the talks and check whether there are things I said that will make sense to you. Not, you see, criticism is not all that bad. It puts you on check. It makes you to know, oh, I may not be getting it right. It helps you to strategize. It's for your own credit. That thing they say you're not doing well, you come back and do it well. You become, in this story too, they told us when we were in primary school, they called him, it was a king.
question from people. He believed that he knows it all. That was how Eze Onyeagbola made himself a mockery and ridiculed himself that very day. Anywhere he was going, flies become his protocols and escort. So this is what we are seeing from this present government. They want to be Eze Onyeagbola. Maybe let's see how it will end for them.
Well, that is also one from your analysis. I think I've heard that story. My dad has sometimes said something like that to us.